everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I'm Miles, I use they them pronouns, and I like to talk about books. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. This was supposed to be a 200 subscriber video a couple weeks ago. However, my good friend Sunny shouted me out in one of their videos and I gained like 200 subscribers from it. Not 200, but I have like 380 subscribers or something like that now, which is fucking insane. Like literally 3 weeks ago I was celebrating 200. I've had this channel for a while. This is like the fastest kind of growth or anything I've had. So thank you to everybody who's new here. I'm so excited. It's just like, I don't know. I'm feeling so grateful to Sunny and just really excited because it is actually my last day of classes. It's like 5 o'clock. I have some finals next week, but besides that, like, I'm pretty much done with the semester. And if you've been following me, like, this semester has kind of sucked. So I'm really excited to just have a reset button. I'm really excited. I'm gonna have some more time to work on YouTube. I'm gonna have some time to read. My Goodreads goal is 200 this year, and I need to read like 20 more books in December if I'm gonna hit that, and so with winter break, I'm hoping to. So today, to celebrate all of these new folks so you guys can get to know me a little more, I'm going to be doing a Q&A, and I just have my little laptop right here with all the questions that y'all asked me on Instagram. So let's just get into it. So at worm_food on Instagram asked favorite movies/TV shows. That is a big question. I think some of my favorite shows, like off the top of my head, are anything by Mike Flanagan, specifically Haunting of Hill House and Midnight Mass. And some movies that I really love. I love Batman 2022. That's not really indicative of the rest of my taste, but that's one of my favorites right now. Harold and Maude is my favorite movie of all time, hands down. I love the soundtrack. It's so weird. I watched it when I was younger and I was just like, yeah, this is it. I also love The Lighthouse and The Witch and of course Hereditary, Midsummer, all of those things. But those are some of my favorites right now. I'm also getting really excited for winter because I get to watch another one of my favorites of all time, The Thing by John Carpenter. If you haven't checked that out, you should check that out. That's one of my favorite horror movies. Abby_art_ says, favorite tattoo, first tattoo, future tattoo plans. My favorite tattoo is one that I have right here on my stomach. It's the one that I get like the most comments on, especially when it's in a video. Everyone loves the shark. This shark has been so good for like my gender image. I love this tattoo so much. It makes me super happy. And I love the placement. I just think it's super cool. And I love great white sharks. So that was the inspo. My first tattoo, I'll post a picture of it because I have pants on today, but I got the two-headed cow from the Two-Headed Calf poem. I got that tattooed on my thigh like a couple months after I turned 18. I got like 8 tattoos in my first year. I was really into it. I do regret some of them, but I really do like most of them. And tattoos are just so fun to me. Even the ones I regret, I'm like, what can you do? Future tattoo plans. There is this one quote. Oh my god. I was at the bookstore the other day and I saw this old craft magazine from like the 1910s, and on every issue it said, "The life so short, the craft so long to learn." And I was like, holy shit, what does that mean? Like, I need that. I love that so much. I went home and Googled it, and it's a Chaucer quote, and I took Chaucer my first year of college and like weirdly really enjoyed it and have always felt like a Chaucer defender. And so it was so cool learning that it was like a cool literary quote. It's also in like the Middle English, LYF, so long. Learn is LERNE, and that's, I don't know. I really want that tattooed. I'm trying to figure out a placement for that though, because text can be kind of iffy. But I think that's next. I also really want something on my forearm. I'm thinking like a hammerhead. My friend Luna asked me quite a few questions. First one is gonna be thoughts on Austin, Texas. I went to Austin this summer with to go visit my best friend Venus while she was home and I just had the best fucking time. We went to like 9 different bookstores. I planned to vlog that whole week, but just never ended up doing it. But I just had just the most special, sweet time there. Austin is such a cool city. If you're ever in town, go to the big downtown library. The best library I've ever been in. That was so wonderful. So I really love Austin. I'm really hoping to come down again soon. Luna also asked, what was the first book that you read that made you go, oh, oh? I don't know if I'm interpreting this the way you meant, but I'm thinking of the first book that made me just go like, holy shit, like this book thing is on to something. I'm thinking of like mid-2020. I think this is my first Instagram post. I was reading Madeline Miller's Circe, and I haven't reread it in a long time, and I really should. But when I read that book, it was like a little light bulb went off. I hadn't really been reading that much for the past few years of my life. I'd kind of fallen out of it, and that book really got me back into it. I started making Instagram posts, and obviously started making my YouTube channel eventually. My friend Cisco asked, what's the worst book you've ever read? I'm sure I have another answer for this, but the first thing that's coming to mind right now is The Silent Patient. I can't remember that author's name, which whatever. I just don't think men should be able to write thrillers. It was such a bad book. And there were so many scenes of like the main character being cool and smoking weed and stuff. And it was just so cringe. Yeah, I'm not really a thriller girl anymore anyways, but like men should not be able to write thrillers. Also, I'm so sorry if the lighting isn't good, really. I am racing sunset right now, and I'm doing my best. I really wanted to film this today. Super Blomper asked me, what's your sun, moon, rising, Venus, and Mars signs? I do not know my Mars off the top of my head. I feel like it's like Taurus. I don't know. Anyways, my sun, I think I have a great chart. I'm an Aries sun, Cancer moon, Libra rising, with a Taurus Venus, which is very important to me. I feel like my Cancer moon and my Taurus Venus very much come out in the way that I'm just like always at home, always cozy, very like keep to myself. But also, like, I feel like Aries really, I don't know, it also does reflect me. I can be intense. But I'm also like cozy and soft. My friend Meredith asked me a few questions as well. She said, why did you choose to go to a small school? Yeah, so I go to a super small, if you're new here, college in the hills of North Carolina, in a very small town. And I study English and creative writing, and I am on our fiber arts crew, so I've been learning how to weave there. And that's all really important to me. And it's a very small school. There's like 700 kids, I think. And well, first of all, I'm here because of the in-state tuition. It was more just like it happened to be a small school. I wasn't really like looking for it, but it has been really helpful for somebody who's hard of hearing to be in these small class sizes. Like, I don't think I've ever been in a class that's over like 25 people, and that has been really wonderful because I can't even imagine like how I would survive in like a lecture style classroom. And a lot of it's mostly discussion based for my English classes, which I really enjoy. So, and I also like love getting to have like closer relationships with teachers and stuff. Some of my teachers might even be watching this right now. So that is why I love being at a smaller school. Meredith also asked what sparked your interest in craft, which is a good question. I feel like I don't really know how to answer that. I've been crafting for a long time. I remember my grandma taught me how to knit when I was younger, and I would do like those little like embroidery kits all the time, and I was really like more of an artist growing up. Like I was always painting and drawing. I was a traditional artist for a long time. And I had a little business, and I was pursuing it like really heavily and working a lot. And I just like was not happy with it. I was like commodifying my art way too much, and it just made it so I didn't enjoy it anymore. And I was working really hard and just not happy. And then I came to school, and got on the fiber arts crew, and like I started craft instead of art, and it just like changed my whole mindset. It's all about like taking your time and patience, and I'm very lucky to where I am selling my crafts, but since I'm in school and not really spending as much money, like I don't have to do it to survive. So this relationship I have with craft is really like nice and slow and comfortable, and there's like the room to learn, and I just love it. I'm also back to some school stuff, like I'm studying folklore as well, and that just intersects with craft so well. So I don't know, I love craft. My friend Pia at Miss Woolen Books asked, how did you discover the joy of reading as a child or later? Talked about this a little in the question before, but I read a lot when I was a kid, like so much. I did not really have that many friends, and I was always reading, and when I was in like 4th grade, I got into horror. I read Carrie by Stephen King, and I also read Night Shift in that year, and it like changed me forever. So I've always been a big reader. You know, when I was younger, of course, I read like Harry Potter and that kind of stuff, and really liked A Series of Unfortunate Events or anything like Neil Gaiman. All of those were really the start of like me really loving reading, and then I fell out of it for a little while in like high school. I just didn't really care about it that much anymore. And then during the pandemic, during the first lockdown, I started reading again. And I didn't even go to school planning to be a English major. I was planning to be an art major, and then I took a class on horror and was like, oh yeah, I think I'm gonna do this forever. Like, I think I could study this forever. I don't think I would still be in school if I was studying art. Jamie asks, what's your favorite Christmas horror movie? Which obviously, hands down, it is the 70s slasher Black Christmas. If you have not seen Black Christmas, you have to watch it. It's so good. It's like actually scary. I love the way it's shot, like very colorful and stylistic and very 70s, and it's just so fun. It's about like a group of sorority girls, and they're about to go home for the holidays, but then slasher things happen, and it's super fun. I love that movie. That's my favorite Christmas horror movie. Bookish.interest asks, do you like scones? I love scones. I used to bake these dried apricot and sage scones that were so nice. I should make scones soon. I do like scones. Bert Pastore says, what was your favorite read of last year? I made a top 10 books of the year, or top 5, I can't remember. But Slewfoot by Brahm, and Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner, and I think Coyote Songs by Cabino Iglesias. I think those were my top 3. And it's still really hard for me to choose in between that. I just reread Slewfoot though, and loved it just as much the second time around, so I think for now I'll say Slewfoot. My friend Andrew asks, what's your best advice for people with ADHD that struggle to get through a book but enjoy reading? That is such a good question. I don't have ADHD, I have OCD, which definitely I still have like some attention problems and I space out, but like a lot of people that I know and love have ADHD and love to read. I think something I would definitely recommend is trying audiobooks. Audiobooks are a great way for me to get myself to read. That's the only way I'm able to read as much as I do. It's so nice because when you kind of get distracted easily, you can just put on your headphones and listen to an audiobook and still keep doing things. You don't have to like stay and sit still. I put on audiobooks when I'm driving, when I'm at the store. If I'm at like Goodwill or grocery shopping and I get overwhelmed, headphones, audiobook. It's awesome. So I definitely recommend audiobooks, and if you're like, audiobooks are so expensive, how am I supposed to do that? You should check out Libby. I'm not sponsored by Libby, but I wish I was. You sign in with your library card and you get access to any books you want. And so I have like 5 library cards on Libby, so I have access to like Brooklyn, Austin. Austin has a great library system. North Carolina, Wisconsin, Florida. So I love Libby. Would recommend that. Try audiobooks. I have a few more questions from Luna. They asked, how does it feel to be so cool and sexy? It feels so good. Thank you, Luna. They also asked favorite kind of horror. That's hard because I have quite a few favorite kinds of horror, but I will say I love anything like deep sea. I love gothic haunted houses. That's probably like what I'm most drawn to and what I'm most like guaranteed to like. But I like deep sea horror. I like when it's cheesy. I love Jaws and all of this just silly little sea creature books. Love cave horror. Drop your cave horror recommendations because I love the idea, and every time I read something that's set in a cave, I'm like, oh my god, that's so scary. But a lot of the books that are cave horror just don't like work with me for other reasons. So I'm like, I need something set in a cave besides a creepypasta that's gonna scare me. So those are some of my favorites. I also really like folk horror and like Southern Gothic. I like a lot of things. It's hard. I'm easy to please. So those are all the questions that I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are new to this channel, thank you so much. I'm so happy to see you here. I'm gonna have a lot more content out in the next few weeks, hopefully. Yeah, if you're going through finals week right now, how is it going? Let me know. I'm praying for you. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna crush it. And if you're new to this channel, like, I don't know, you could like subscribe if you're interested. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.